Cricket West Indies head coach Darren Sammy goes deep as he talks about the upcoming tour of Nepal, India, and Bangladesh. Plus, he talks about individual players.
Thank you, Randy. Good morning to all. Um, yes, our second uh, test series in the championships. And like I said, when I took over the job, when you looked at the first three assignments for the team, where it was Australia at home, India away, and New Zealand away, we saw it was three blockbuster series. However, with the brand and the style of cricket that we want to play, India, we all know is going to be a challenge. It's a place that I think since 1983 we've not won a series there, and I think that in itself speaks volumes. What we trying to achieve when we go down to India. However, I'm so glad that Jamal and the Tidy and Miles is there, and probably the way we go about selecting squads, and something I've spoken about often is identifying the roles that we feel that could be executed first, that will allow us to be successful, and then we put the personnel and the skill set to match the role that is required. And that's how we came about the squad for India. And I'm really looking forward. They got some guys returning based on the skill sets. They got some guys who have missed out, but all in all, I think we've put in a really good squad based on the roles and skill set that will be required for India, and I'm looking forward to it. I know the director said we leave straight away after the Caribbean Premier League, where we'll have two teams. One is the T20 team, which I'm also keeping a very close eye on, and I'm really excited about. I must give credit to Cricket West Indies on the Breakout League. I think that really helped us, unearth some talent leading into the CPL. And then, with the Nepal tour, some of these talents getting an opportunity to perform, being selected. I'm also going to be looking at that very closely whilst we're over in India. But all in all, we're looking forward to both tours. Firstly, getting the test team, the 10 days we have in India prepared and ready for the challenge. Well, when you select a team, there are a number of factors that you take. You take numbers, you take performance, you take what the role is required. I mean, before Tage got injured in the 4-day championships, he was averaging, I think, 47. Jamal could correct me on that, but he was averaging around 47, batting well. And just looking at our depth chart, who we have with the opening spot over the last few series, not really giving us the numbers and the results that we want. When we look at the role needed for one of these openers, Tage brings that sort of clarity of thought that we're looking at in terms of the skill set and what that role requires. And his experience, the ability to play spin, he was probably right up there as one of the better contenders for that role. So young man, you speak about transitioning. He made a very strong case for the opening spot. Devlon, I mean, he's been one of our better best talented batters over the last 2 seasons. What he's done in the competition that gives you the opportunity to be selected. Nobody could question the performances he's put in. And again, if you look at the grand scheme of things, that's why, Jamal is there, and all the coaches, we are trying to put measures in place that, allows our guys, when they come up to international cricket, the technical flaws are more, it's limited. Yes, it was a tough one for Anderson. I mean, making your debut against Australia in an attack that have all five bowlers in the top 10 in the world. So it was not an easy baptism for him. However, one of my greatest assets, to be fair, is to motivate and inspire and saying the right things to be able to keep a youngster like him motivated. We believe in him. We believe we've earmarked him as one for the future, and we'll continue to work on him and with him, Floyd Reefer and all the technical coaches that we'll have from a batting standpoint. We'll give him all the necessary tools in order for him to remain motivated and be even more technically sound. Moti, what Moti has been doing for us over the last 18 months, you can't question, his commitment, his performances. However, my conversations with Moti, as well as, the workload he's had, in all the cricket that we've played. Also, looking at the CPL, looking forward to the World Cup. We decided to give him a rest. It might be a short rest because he's got to come back soon to be in the ODI team for the Bangladesh series. That's what happened. Moti, you could see some of the guys who've not in the Nepal series. All these conversations would have taken place, to better manage the workload of our players. But Moti is a very strong contender, in all formats. I think probably he's still one of our highest paid contracted players. So we understand the value he brings, but we also have to manage the player. And even Moti, I watch him in the CPL, he's been doing excellent. But if you understand, I think Moti's left hand is so swollen, but again, it speaks to the volume, the character of the guy, being able to play with little niggles and stuff like that. But yeah, we just decided to give him a rest based on the conversations that we had. From my end, and I'm pretty sure I could speak on the rest of the staff. The 10 days leading up to the test match, we'll be drilling in all these things and planning very well as to how we're gonna beat India in India. We definitely going down there with the mindset to win. We're not just gonna go down there and think, it's India. No, New Zealand went there and did incredibly well, and that we should take inspiration from. But again, is understanding the things that New Zealand did against such in those conditions and try to emulate it with our guys as well. All players are always up for selection, and again, just to reiterate, the selection process, the guys involved in selection, we have 2, 3 of us here, include the captain, include the analyst who's not there. And yes, Kavim Hodge have always been considered for West Indies selection. The return of Alec, again, looking at the conditions, looking at what we'll face. Alec, we knew before Australia Alec was always going to come back into the setup, based on the conditions that we will face and the skill set that would require us to be successful. So again, we don't just stay there and just pick and pluck players from nowhere. We do a lot of information, a lot of data collected, and we try to come up with the best squad in terms of the roles and the skill set required, and then the personnel come in. So again, that's how the selection process goes. And it's unfortunate that Hodge misses out again. But if you look at the squad and how we want to play, you will see we came up with the best combinations that we possibly could for India series. That's the challenge for everyone we face here, and that's where the franchise system play such a big role in helping prepare our players with no competition, or rather no competitive cricket being played during that time for in between the next series. So again, one thing I know about Hodge is probably one of the hardest working batsmen we have. Takes his game very serious, so he will always be ready if called upon. That's one thing I could vouch for Kevin, knowing the player, knowing the individual, and again is the constant communication, with whether it be Jamal, with myself, with the batting consultants, Floyd Reefer, as to the dialogue as to what is required, some of the things that he has to work on moving forward, and again, the franchise system would be there where the continued work is happening, and in the absence of competition, that's what we gotta rely on. There's also maybe an opportunity for him to. I mean, we don't have the HPC yet, but I'm pretty sure. The director is there. If we do need him coming across to Antigua to do some work, that's also probably would be on the cards as well. But knowing Hodge would be in Dominica, hitting so many balls and making sure he's ready if a call up comes up. And how this player could come in and have an impact. O'Shane Thomas, I remember watching him bowl a 4-over spell in New Zealand, in Sri Lanka, and getting 6 wickets. And I think I reminded him of that the other day, and he said, "Coach, I had 6 wickets in the first 3 overs." So, but then you fall back and you see how fit he was, and that's one thing I've always said to O'Shane: you need to get fit, and get back to that place where you were bowling 140 clicks and you were slim and everything was in good rhythm. At this moment, he's not physically fit in terms of what he's put in. But I could tell you what I've seen in the Kings, St. Lucia Kings, is the willingness to just work on fitness, and with that attitude, he's always going to be one. When fit and bowling well, could be an asset for West Indies. Shea is a class act. So, leading batsman in ODI cricket over the last 3 or 4 years. The way he pays attention to his preparation, the manner in which he goes and scores his runs, is good signs for us. With the Test series coming up, since I think 2017 or 2018 it was in England, we looking for that type of promise that he showed, scoring those 200s at Headingley, I think, and I'm looking forward to having those runs and that batsmanship in the Test series in India, and knowing Shea. He wants that as well. So the more runs he scores for us, the better I think he could put the team in a position to win. And I trust in his ability, because I see his preparation and the amount of work that goes in. And he performing is a result of the preparation he puts into his craft.
Brilliant. So I'm a big believer in, selecting players, when they're in form, or as we would say, when they're hot. Dave Chanderpaul obviously has been, recalled. He's only played 3 professional games this year. Obviously, had some injuries during the first class championship. Showed decent form, but he just hasn't played a lot. Was not involved in the A-team series. Are we confident that with the body of work behind him, he, we're putting him sort of in a position to be successful? And another part of this question is also, is Brandon King being considered as one of the opening options?
Yeah, we've thought about this, but look, the way Brandon batted in the Test series, albeit it was really challenging times, but what Brandon showed was, especially in that second Test, was the maturity. He has the temperament to score runs. Yes, he's opened in the white ball format all throughout his career, but no, we've not considered that. I think what we saw at number 4 looks quite promising for Brandon. And again, yes, Tage did have a full first-class season. However, what we saw, and we've been speaking to him on his preparation, even before the squad was announced. The conversations with Floyd, Jamal, myself, building up to what we expect, the role that we looking for him to play, and the understanding of that role. That gives me hope. I mean, look, if you look at the Test series that we played and the brand that we're looking to play, I mean, somebody like Tage, somebody like Craig, these guys, the way the style and that role they bring into the team is so important and critical to our success. And in the absence of Craig, the next best person that played that type of similar role would have been Tage, and we're hoping that the build up before what he's been doing here in Guyana, preparation he's been putting in would be good enough to be executed in India.
All right, I take with note that Rodman and Shimron are both missing from the Nepal tour. I assume they're being arrested, but both gentlemen also missed the series against Pakistan, the T20 series against Pakistan. And now, obviously, both came back immediately for CPL. Is Shimron Hetmeyer in particular, is he available for selection, Darren?
Okay. Some of the guys like Rovman, if you look at Shofane, who else? Moti, Shepard. If you look at the workload of these guys, Rovman for sure, he has been battling a wrist injury that prevented him from playing in the Pakistan series. I mean, he pushed it through the CPL. He requested time off for him to further look at it. Moti and Shepard, because of their workload over the last few months, we gave them time off for that. Shofane was also, because of his workload. Mr. Hetmeyer, also requested that he was unavailable for that Nepal trip. So again, like I said, it's not always a bed of roses. Some things we don't say, but it's always a challenge. I've said it. When I call somebody and tell them you've been selected for a certain series, and I have to ask if you to everyone, do you accept the selection to play for West Indies? it's something that I must do because we don't own the players. We could only select from what's available to us. Petty has been one of our promising, talented players from the under 19 level. However, the scope of things there now, you could only select and hope guys accept the selection.
Okay.
But he's always available.
He's always available.
Yeah, from our side.
Okay. Jason Holder and Sherfield Rutherford, were any of these guys considered for the test series?
You want me to answer?
Yes.
Yeah, Shofin, that year he had last year, the ability to play spin. I planted a seed in his ear from I think over 6-7 months ago. When we knew we're going to play against India, and he promised to get back, but again with the workload that he's had, he's playing more franchise cricket. He's been playing all of our white ball games, full CPL. And he requested the time to recharge his batteries. So that I can't fault him for. Jason Holder, yes, he has been considered. However, if you like open conversations with him, the role Justin has played in the test team is direct, with the role Jason would have been doing. So and it's conversations I've had with him about test cricket, where we see him, and yeah, that's it. But he's been considered at the moment. The role that would love for him to play is being played by Justin Graves.
All right, thanks, coach, and good luck for tour of India and also Nepal.
Thank you very much. With the need to continue our technical aspects of the game, having Jerome Taylor undershadowing somebody like Otis Gibson, the amount of experience there. I remember talking about, from our fast bowling department. Look at the tour. We've been struggling to get one left arm seamer. On this tour, got I think 3 of them in Obed McCoy, Jediah Blades, and Raymond Simmons, who will be working with Otis Gibson. And Jerome Taylor could get all the knowledge he wants. So when he comes back, he could, impact that knowledge, that technical knowledge, in our players around the region or in Jamaica. And then obviously we have a young Zishan and Bidesi, and also Akil Hussein, who he's gonna be the captain, but he's our premier, left arm spinner in that format. Having Nikita Miller there, to just cushion the load of international cricket on those new fringe players. I think that was brilliant on your part. It ticks so many boxes for us from a coaching standpoint and from easing the players into international cricket and having that type of coach there for them. The other guys in terms of like Kyle Mayers, who's been there, Django and the batters, young Akeem and all these guys. The other coaches are way capable of being effective on that tour. And I'm actually looking forward to the feedback, especially from our fast bowling department. Well, seam bowling department, where we've been trying to put right in that format, especially. And that Nepal tour could unearth some really, talent that we've already seen, blossoming in the CPL.
That's all we have for now until